It is now time for Rick Comegy to join us, Jackson State head football coach. Jackson State defeated Mississippi Valley State by a final score of 26-17. Coach, if you will, talk about your victory over Mississippi Valley and preview Grambling this coming Saturday.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. It was just a hard-fought game. We went down to their place, and we knew that they were going to come out, playing good, solid football, just as I thought. Coming off a big win over A&M, and what a confidence builder, I think, for any team to beat an A&M team. And we knew we had a fight on our hands down there, and exactly what it was. I mean, it took it all the way down to about the fourth quarter before anything kind of broke loose, and so that we could get a win. I take my hat off to coach and his staff and his team. We were just glad to get out of there. There was a big game for us. We wanted to go down and get it and come back with it, and I was proud of our kids. They went down and hung in there all the way and with high emotion and fought hard to get it. We blocked a punt and kind of changed some things around, and we had Pendleton making a couple of big catches, and I think Casey played well. Moved the chains for Moore. Moved the chains for us and did a great job there, and so I was really pleased. I think our defense held when it had to hold. 1, 2, 3 and out. We played better in the second half than we did in the first. I think their offense mixed some things up real well, and did a fine job of coming out with some schemes and things that you hadn't seen before, and I'm very fortunate to have a guys that can make quick adjustments and slow you down so that we can manage to get a win. And there's no doubt this week. There's no doubt that the Grambling staff is putting some good things out there. I just saw a little bit of it this morning, and they look good on tape. They do some fine things. Their O-line, I think, is blocking much better, doing a much better job of doing some good things when I've seen them earlier and watching other teams that we had to play. And I think Coach Ragsdale is going to have that team ready. They've beaten us up here before and at our place and went on to a championship. I remember that. And so it's just, I think, you just can't overlook a team like Grambling. They're always, going to want to, they've got a lot of pride, a lot of tradition, and, they come to play. And so, we just got to prepare ourselves to, to play a solid football game and not make a lot of mistakes, and hopefully we'll come out with a win.
All right, the floor is now open for Jackson State head coach Rick Comegy.
Coach, I know you mentioned that that you won't look over Grambling, but sometimes when you're facing a team that's looking for their win, dating back to last season, is it tougher to prepare for a game like that, or get your team a focus to play a team like that, knowing that you can't overlook this team?
Well, I don't think it is. I mean, they still carry the name Grambling, and anytime when you have a tradition and especially a football tradition of that magnitude, that it's just, I think, instinctive that you got to play hard and you got to fight hard, and I don't think anyone here on our staff or on our team, we respect everybody, and we fear none, but we respect all. And so, and that's just been our motto, and so, it's been working for us. We know we got to work, and we know we got to do our jobs, but we got to give them the respect that they deserve. No matter what year, when, how. We just, you got to play in their days of greatness. You can't just go in there thinking, well, these are these guys. No, you got to play them in their days of greatness, and that's what I try to convince our kids to do, and hopefully they'll do that.
Coach, coming out of Mississippi Valley State, how much confidence did you take away from your passing game when Mississippi Valley shut down the run?
Well, I was glad to see us throw the ball a little bit. I was glad that, I think Pendleton made some big catches, and I'm glad to see that Clayton was looking down and looking around the field a little bit, even though he didn't get a lot of time sometimes. But I'm glad to see him going through some type of progression. And I like what we were doing on the ground, as we started getting to some mileage on the ground later on in the game. Kind of mixing it up a little bit from inside outside, and kind of being able to pick up some first downs. But I was really pleased. Overall, I think this probably our offensive line didn't have the day we wanted on the ground, but I think we made some big catches in the air that kept us alive.
Javante Jones was down for a while. What's the status of him, and would he be expected to play on Saturday?
Oh, there's no doubt. He's not going to miss a game for anything. He's a tough kid, and he had the same situation happen to him a week ago, and he played on it, and he couldn't continue playing. And he's just a tough guy. There's no way he's going to allow us to keep him out of a game.
What happened to him in that game?
Well, he's always, he's got a little, pain in the hip, like a bruised hip, but, that shouldn't keep him from playing.
All right. And it seemed like go on. Sorry.
No, go right ahead.
I was going to ask, it just seemed like the kickoff and punt return teams seem to have a little trouble on Saturday, and you're led by Darius Moore and Daniel Williams, freshmen. What are you going to do to kind of give them a little bit of confidence and hope they can improve on Saturday's game?
Well, I think we just got to continue working on punt a little bit more. When they go up and catch a punt rather than letting it roll, or knowing when not to catch a punt and just let it roll into the end zone. They all got good hands back there. It's just a matter of when and where and making good decisions. But they're young. And so sometimes, they let it roll too deep and the ball get, then they're playing down in it with our backs to the enemy's territory, or they'll try to make a catch in the wrong part of the territory downfield and those type of things. So we just got to go back and watch film with them, sit down with them, teach them, when is the when, where, and when. Well, sometimes you got to let a bad punt go. You can't catch them all. And so we just got to make sure that we're working that and feed that to them because they are young.
Coach, they usually talk about turnovers being the key to winning or losing, but you lead the conference, or I should say you're last in the conference at minus 12 turnovers, but you have the best record in the conference. What would you attribute that to?
I think, we try to work at turnovers, even though we lead the conference. You see, last week we only had 3. And so, early in the year we had a lot of things happen that cost us a lot of turnovers. But, as of lately, we're just got to keep working at it. I can't contribute to anything. We're trying to play solid football and try to be, error-free. But early in the year, we had a lot of serious problems, and I think this last game, we may have had a couple bad snaps, and that led to a turnover. One led to a turnover, one didn't over the quarterback's head, and so we got to go back and work on it, But I think the kids, one thing they do have, they're fighters and they don't quit. And if there's anything that's contributed to, they can shake off a bad situation and continue playing, with their mindset, because I think they're pretty much, these guys are, to me, they're strong-minded type guys who, want to win.
So most of those turnovers were against Tulane and, let's see, you had a bunch against against Tennessee State.
Absolutely.
So that's where the bulk of them came. Since that time, they've basically cut down on them.
We have cut back on them, but we were way up there, and whether we were leading the conference in turnovers there for a minute there, I'm sure we're probably again still leading because we had so many. But I just thank God we were able to pull it out.